विक्रम बाल वार्ता। लेखक उपाध्याय श्री विश्रुत्यश विजय जी महाराज साहेब। प्रायोजक राजेश कामदार, नागपुर।
1. Queen's Luxury. Queen of Kashi, Karuna has come out to bathe with 100 friends. The pure water is flowing treacherously, and the cold wind of January month is blowing. There is no human being on the riverbank far from the city. There are some huts of poor nearby. The king ordered that all the people living there should move to the courtyard because the queen was about to come for her bath. As a result, the huts have become deserted. The north wind has made the river restless. The golden morning light is absorbing within the water. The flowing, dancing river looks like a dancer, whose stole is shining with diamonds and rubies. The pretty women are bathing. How can the chain of shyness hold back these damsels, who feel as if they are free from the confines of the palace? The intermingling of 100 voices, the giggling laughter, the clapping of soft hands and sweet talks. It seemed as if the river is loving the slaps of those 200 soft hands. The sky was full of noise. Queen Karuna came to the shore after taking her bath and shouted, "Hey, listen, will you light a fire? I am trembling with cold." All her companions left the stream and started pulling the branches of trees. But where did those soft hands have the strength to break even a single branch? The queen called out, "Look, there are huts made of grass. Burn one of the huts, its heat will prevent my shiver." The maid named Malti said, "Rani ji, is this a joke? That hut houses either saints or some poor. Will you really burn down a poor person's small house?" "Hey, you are too kind," Queen Karuna said. "Girls, take this girl away and burn that hut. The cold is killing me." The maid servants set fire to the hut and suddenly flames erupted, as if embers were being crushed from the underworld. The damsels got engrossed in singing and dancing with joy. The birds of dawn stopped their chirping. A flock of crows started screeching on the tree. From one hut to another the fire spread rapidly, and in the blink of an eye, all the huts were burned down. The queen returned with her friends playing with her colorful silk-embroidered stole. The king was sitting on the judicial chair. The poor people had become homeless as their houses had been set on fire to make the queen warm. The poor people created an uproar in the Rajya Sabha. The king listened. His face turned red. At once he reached his palace. Queen Karuna, according to which state law were the houses of the deprived people burned down? Raja questioned. Upset Queen said, "How do you call those dirty huts houses? What is the value of those 25 huts? How much money is wasted in 12 hours of a day, king?" The king's eyes flamed with anger. He said to the queen, "As long as you are sitting in this royal palace, you will not understand that if the huts of the poor are burned, the poor will suffer. Let me explain it to you clearly." The king called the maid and ordered, "Remove the queen's jewels and remove the smooth covering from her body. Now bring some beggar woman's clothes and dress the queen," ordered the king. The maid obeyed. The king took the queen's hand and led her to the state's main road. He said in the midst of the crowd, "Proud queen of Kashi, wander around the town begging from door to door. Don't come back until you have rebuilt those burnt huts. I give you a term of 1 year. And after a year return to the assembly. Bow down and tell the people how much grievance has been caused by burning those huts." Tears welled up in the king's eyes. The queen was dressed as a beggar. On that day, the king could not sit on the judicial chair again. Learning, a poor person's hut is more valuable to him than a king's palace. 2. Pintu. Delhi City. Time was 12:30 in the afternoon. Sandhya, studying in class 10, and her brother Pintu studying in class 6, were going home from school. Sister's bicycle was in front and brother's was behind. A young man, aged 20 to 22 years, stopped Sandhya's bicycle as they passed through a lonely road. He was her lover, a one-sided lover. He said, "Sandhya, Sandhya, I love you. But I don't love you. Leave my way, I will tell Dad," Sandhya said. The guy said, "No, you must love me. If you won't be mine, I won't let you be anyone's. I ask for the last time, say yes or no." "No, no and no, a million times no," Sandhya angrily refused, and the young man fell on her. He started pulling off her clothes. Sandhya's brother saw his sister being molested and throwing his bicycle, rushed to her rescue. He shouted at the young man, "I am telling you, leave my sister." But how is a little boy's capacity? The molester took out a knife and attacked Sandhya. Pintu intervened and took the wound inflicted on his sister upon himself. Thus, one after the other, he was stabbed many times. Pintu's whole body was full of stab wounds, but he did not move away from his sister. Finally, his body could take no more. He fell unconscious. Till then he did not let the attacker touch Sandhya. After Pintu fell unconscious, the molester attacked Sandhya. Her body was dismembered and she was killed by the demon. After months of treatment, Pintu finally survived. But he was more saddened by the death of his sister than the joy of his survival. A 6th standard boy can do such a dare only when his sister is in front of him. This incident happened in Delhi some time ago. Just the names in this story have been changed. Learning, a brother who fears even a cockroach at home does not hesitate to fight a lion for his sister. 3. Albert Schweitzer. Albert's father was a priest. The seeds of philanthropy were sown in him since childhood. Through study, he became a great philosopher and writer. Success was at his feet, and he was sitting on piles of money. Once, Albert visited the poor people living in the forests of Europe and was stunned by their condition. There were no hospitals, no places of study, and no arrangements for food or shelter. Many villagers died due to a lack of treatment for even minor diseases. After returning, Albert made a difficult decision. Abandoning a glittering career as an accomplished writer, philosopher, and pianist, he decided to become a doctor. Despite his friends' requests for him to reconsider, he was resolute. For 7 years, he studied to become a doctor and then left his illustrious career to move to the forest villages. His wife, Helen, supported him in this noble endeavor, using her savings to provide medicines and other supplies. The couple arrived at their place of work on the banks of the densely forested Lembarin Mission. Sleeping on a silk pillow, they stayed that night in a hut infested with mosquitoes and cockroaches. They remained there not just for a night but for their entire lives, dedicating themselves to the free treatment of poor patients. At 79 years age, with a big mustache and standing on the stage of a hall filled with dignitaries in expensive suits, Albert, from his heart, spoke about poverty, grief, pain, and humanity. Everyone in the hall had tears in their eyes. As a lifelong servant of humanity, Dr. Albert Schweitzer received the Nobel Prize in the year 1954 for his work. Learning, people sacrifice their entire lives and careers for humanity. Should we not sacrifice even a small part of our lives? Humanity has no store, it ripens only in the heart. 4. Humanity. A brother is very philanthropic. Every Sunday, he goes out with biscuits to satisfy hungry and thirsty people. Sometimes he visits city temples, sometimes railway stations, and sometimes bus stations. He also gives food to people living on the footpath. One Sunday, while distributing biscuits to people sitting on the footpath outside the railway station, he came to a woman with a little boy in her lap and another sitting next to her. He gave 3 packets to the woman and walked ahead. After walking a little, he heard someone shout from behind, "Oh sir, sir, stop please." He looked back and saw the beggar woman running towards him. He thought that she was coming to ask for one more packet of biscuits for her second son. He took out a packet from his bag and went towards her. But to his surprise, the woman approached him and gasped, saying, "Sir, you gave me 3 packets, but my younger child is only 1 year old. He can't eat. Take this back and feed someone else who is hungrier than I am." He was amazed by the humanity of this poor, hungry woman. He said, "Never mind, sister, keep it with you. You can eat it in the evening. Evening talk is for the evening, sir, but in the afternoon, no one should suffer from hunger. We hope humanity is not dead yet in this city. If the Almighty has mercy, He will send a kind person like you to fill our stomachs. Otherwise, we will drink water and sleep. Take this back." Tears swelled his eyes. He said, "Sister, you are right. Humanity is not yet dead in this city. It is still alive on the footpath. Helping the common man is uncommon humanity. Learning, sometimes the humanitarian deed done by even the common is greater than that done by wealthy people." 5. Gladstone. England's Prime Minister Gladstone was at the forefront of humanitarian affairs more than his diplomacy in politics. His humanity was praised throughout England. He believed that whoever a person may be, rich or poor, owner or worker, in a high position or a peon, no one should give up their humanity. When a man loses his humanity, his value becomes zero. Gladstone believed and followed this. Once it so happened that Gladstone was leaving to go to a function. On the way, he saw a sight. An old man was pulling a handcart loaded with heavy iron goods. The cart was overloaded and reached a hilly road. The old man was trying hard, but he could not move it up the steep road. Gladstone was moved by this. He was far away in his car, on the opposite side of the road. He immediately instructed the driver to stop the car by the roadside. Gladstone instructed, "You wait here, I am coming." The driver said, "But sir, where are you going walking like this?" "Don't worry. I will return soon." After speaking, Gladstone started to walk down and reached the handcart. The old man was completely unaware that the Prime Minister was standing by. He had probably seen his photo in the newspaper but did not recognize him. He thought that a commoner was passing by. The old man requested him to help push the handcart up the slope. Gladstone had come this way to help him. He had already left his coat in the car. He rolled up his shirt sleeves and started pushing the lorry. His Majesty pushed the lorry up the slope. That instant, the manager of a company was passing by. He recognized Gladstone and was greatly surprised. The Prime Minister of England was standing on the road like a common man. Not only was he standing, but he was pushing the handcart of the laborer. He was shocked to see that. He ran towards it and started shouting at the old man, "This is the Prime Minister of our country. Where is your respect? And you are making him push the handcart like this." The old man's mind was blown after realizing that it was the Prime Minister himself who was pushing his handcart. He started apologizing profusely. At the same time, the manager folded his hands and said, "Sir, I am very sorry for all of this. I apologize on this old man's behalf. Forgive us. The people of England are your citizens." The Prime Minister smiled and said, "Brother, there is no need to apologize. There is nothing wrong with this. I am the Prime Minister, but I am also a human. A person who is human must show humanity towards other human beings. Rank is not important here, humanity is important. I have no shame in helping my countrymen." Saying this, the Prime Minister walked away. Learning, status or money should never come in the way of showing humanity. 6. Bhagwati Vidyalaya. This happened years ago. A widow lived with her son in Medinipur village. Her condition was very poor. She didn't have a farm or any other business. She worked as a laborer and educated her son. Sometimes she would go to someone's farm to work, sometimes to someone's house to wash dishes and clothes, and sometimes she would cook at wedding occasion. In this way, her livelihood was sustained. The son, though young, grew up watching his mother's struggles. Even in such poverty, the mother made her son study hard. The son knew that his mother was selling her jewelry one piece after another to educate him. Eventually, all her ornaments were sold. The son saw all this and thought to himself that his mother had worked very hard for him. She had taken great pains to educate him. He resolved that one day he would study, become a successful man, and provide his mother with all kinds of comforts. The son grew up with these noble thoughts. Finally, the mother's hard work paid off. The son started earning well and became famous in society. He remembered his mother's sacrifices. One day he said to his mother, "Mother, you have worked so hard to educate me. Now I want to give you happiness. Let's demolish our house and build a new bungalow. I will also buy gold ornaments for you. Take this money and buy as many ornaments as you like." The mother returned the money and said, "Son, just hearing you say this has given me all the happiness I need. I appreciate the thought, but son, there is not a single school in our village. If you must use the money, use it to build a school. Houses and ornaments are temporary. Today they exist, and tomorrow they might not. But mother, I have earned all this for you. Son, you might have earned for me, but the people of this village and the next generation of the village are more important to me. You don't know, son, whether I have got you educated by selling jewelry or enduring suffering, but the help of the people in this village was crucial. This village has given us warmth and shelter. Many a times when there was no money to pay your fees, the good people of this village helped me out of humanity. Today, the time has come for us to repay the debt to this village. You should do this for the sake of humanity. If you open a school in our village, no mother in future generations will have to struggle like I did. She will not have to go far to educate her son. Dear, this is the work of humanity." Hearing his mother's words, the son's eyes became moist. He said, "I will definitely build a school in our village for my mother and humanity." The son built a beautiful school in his village. The son's name was Ishwarchandra Vidyasagar and the mother's name was Bhagwati Devi. Even today in this village, Bhagwati Vidyalaya built in the name of mother and humanity stands as a testimony of this incidence of humanity. Learning, doing work for others, even at the expense of personal sacrifice, is a high form of humanity. Society survives because of such works of humanity. 7. Nuclear weapons. World War II broke out in 1945. The United States of America detonated nuclear bombs over Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and corpses were scattered everywhere. Both the cities were covered with blood. Trees and leaves dried up. The squeals of children and the celebrations of the jubilant masses turned to mourning. The waters of rivers dried up, and rivers of blood flowed. The detonation of nuclear weapons had wiped out humans and mankind in one shot, and smoke was everywhere. It smelled not only of burning human flesh, but also of burning humanity. Einstein, the great scientist associated with the discovery of nuclear weapons, was shocked to see this. He was deeply shocked to see that his invention was denigrating humanity in this way. The disastrous scenes left him grief-stricken. He scolded the American commanders in very bitter words. "You have destroyed all mankind by dropping the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This act of yours has killed not only mankind, but also humanity. You should be ashamed of yourselves. This invention of mine was meant to be used in times of calamities, not to destroy each other in internecine warfare." But everything proved to be like water on stone. No one listened to Einstein. His grief increased immensely. He thought to himself, "Oops, my invention has caused a lot of damage. God will not forgive me now. All the inventions and discoveries I made for the good of mankind will be overshadowed by this one thing. Now my name will go down in blood as a murderer of humanity, even though I have a deep sense of humanity in my heart." Many such thoughts swirled in his mind day and night. How good it would be if my invention was an auspicious discovery that benefited others. With such thoughts, he began to write about the creative uses of these inventions. He wrote many books and treatises on how the same inventions used by inhuman people to exterminate mankind could be proven useful to humans. In addition, he began a campaign to ban the use of nuclear weapons. He started corresponding with world leaders and meeting world leaders. Efforts were also made to establish the United Nations. As a human being, he did everything he could to save mankind. In that, he was successful to some extent. Even on his deathbed, this was the only thing on his mind. 2 days before his death, he wrote, "Just remember humanity. Everything else is useless. If you do this, a new heaven will be created on earth. Learning, none of our inventions or any development should harm humanity." 8. The enemy. 8. The enemy. There was a big philanthropist in America named Andrew Carnegie. He had a big iron business, and many workers were employed there. Carnegie was quite a humanitarian. Even the thought of exploiting someone did not enter his mind. To him, humans were like God, and showing humanity was like worshipping God. He took great care of each and every worker in the factory. He would pay them more than their ability and work, keeping them happy. However, a greedy craftsman turned against him. He instigated some disgruntled artisans and organized a union of workers. The worker was so deceitful that he arranged the union to go on strike at a critical time when Carnegie had taken on a lot of work. Carnegie was greatly disturbed by this. It resulted in millions of dollars in losses. It was really tough for Carnegie to bring the situation back to normal. The aim of that worker was only to harass and harm him. He succeeded in that. Carnegie explained the situation to everyone, and they returned to work. But on the second day after work resumed, the worker fell ill and went on leave. The illness prolonged. He stayed in bed for a month. Then a good doctor diagnosed a horrible disease and said that if his life was to be saved, he needed to be immediately admitted to a big hospital for an operation. The cost of the operation was about $100,000. The economic condition of the worker was very bad. Even if he sold his house, he could not pay the amount. How to collect such a large amount? This question broke him down. His family was also helpless. Once, his wife spoke. I see only one way out of this. Say quickly, what is it? Your employer. No one else can help except him. If you want to live, you have to ask him for help. No, that is not possible, said the worker with a slack mouth. I have hurt him a lot. How can I go to him? After that, they rushed to many other places for financial assistance. One day, suddenly, a stranger came and provided the entire amount for the operation. Tears came to the worker's eyes. He underwent the operation and recovered. He wondered who had done such a big favor for him. Who sent this amount? One day, he came to know that the amount was sent by his employer, Carnegie, himself. He immediately went to Carnegie with his family and fell at his feet. Sir, you have saved my life. Thank you is too little for you. Carnegie picked him up and hugged him. The worker asked with wet eyes, Sir, despite my actions against you, you helped me. You didn't even give your name when you helped. You have set a great example by helping an enemy like me. Carnegie said, Brother, you may be my enemy, but you are a human being first. I saw your pain as a human being, not as my worker. If a person I know dies for lack of money, my humanity also dies. I did not help you to keep you alive. I helped to keep my humanity alive. If I had sent the money with my name, you would have felt ashamed. You don't have to repay this amount, but in return, you have to promise that you will keep the lamp of humanity burning. Learning, Tirthankar Mahavir told, those who serve the sick, they serve me. It's doubt, perhaps this quote is of Buddha. 9. The Pumpkin. It was before independence. A meeting of Mahatma Gandhi was going on in a village a little away from Cuttack. Thousands of tribal people had gathered to see and listen to this great soul. At the end of the speech, Bapu asked for contributions for the work of the country. My dear brothers and sisters, our country is going through terrible trouble. We have to work hard to get rid of British slavery, to serve the poor, and to fight for the freedom of the country. This will require a lot of money. I am requesting you with folded hands that those among you who are capable and able to contribute should contribute according to their ability. That money will be used for the upliftment of the poor and for national service. But yes, this contribution is not mandatory. I am putting forward this request only in front of capable people. Not everyone needs to give. While Bapu's words were still echoing in the air, it started raining money. Rich people were very few, but poor people also contributed a lot. Everyone started donating as per their capacity. From 5 paisa to 50 paisa, money started falling into Bapu's bag. Bapu saw that even the poor, ragged people were contributing. Even those who had no money for the evening meal gave money from their own savings. Bapu was shocked to see this scene. He took the mic and announced again, Brothers, I see that you are all contributing. I request that only those who are competent contribute. The needy need not give their money. But no one listened to Bapu. One after another, all the people were coming in line and contributing. Bapu was silently watching everything with a heavy heart. Then came a little boy. He put a pumpkin in a sack spread in front of Bapu. Just by looking at him, it seemed that he was very poor. He was barely dressed and had several patches on his shorts. Bapu asked him, "Hey, stand up. Why put this pumpkin here?" The boy was frightened. He said tremblingly, "We have no money, so my mother said that we should give a pumpkin." "Where did you get this pumpkin from?" Bapu asked. "There are trees behind our house. This pumpkin grew on one of them. We cook and eat it every day," the boy replied. Bapu asked, "If you give me this pumpkin, then what will you eat today?" The boy happily said, "Father, Mother said that today is the day of renunciation. Today, we will go hungry by giving up this pumpkin. We will eat nothing today." Tears rolled down Bapu's eyes. He took the boy in his arms and hugged him. This is the sacrifice of the people of India. These are the people who can celebrate sacrifice. These are the people who can think of others even in their own suffering. Learning, even if you have only a little and you give it away, that is the true meaning of renunciation. 10. Chariot. Swami Vivekananda, who made India famous in World Religious Conference at Chicago, returned to India. Crowds thronged the seashore of Rameshwaram to welcome him. He was given a grand welcome, seated in a chariot. Citizens were saluting Swamiji happily. His chariot was being pulled by people hurrying to see him. There was even competition among the devotees to pull the chariot in which Swami Vivekananda was sitting. The Diwan of the state was pulling the chariot himself, along with guildsmen, farmers, artisans, men, women and children. Swami Vivekananda, dressed in saffron garments, was adorning the chariot like a radiant sun. At that moment, the Maharaja of the state himself arrived and also started pulling the chariot. The Maharaja was aged and a little unwell. Diwan Sahib saw him pulling the chariot and did not find it appropriate. After a few minutes, he went to the Maharaja and said, "Maharaja Sahib, I want to talk to you, just come out." The Maharaja came out. Diwan Ji took him away from the crowd and said, "Excuse me, Maharaja Sahib, for bringing you out like this. But I didn't think it was right for you, as a king, to pull the chariot of a citizen like this. Vivekananda is your citizen anyway. You are the Maharaja, the king of this kingdom. Your reputation is that of a god, and it does not look good that you pull a chariot like this. So, I request you to stop pulling the chariot and sit in the chariot next to Vivekananda." The Maharaja laughed after listening to the Diwan. "Diwan Ji, you are also more powerful than Vivekananda. Why are you pulling the chariot?" "My point is different, Maharaja Sahib. Whatever position I hold, I am an ordinary citizen, but you are the king." The Maharaja said, "Diwan Ji, just as you are pulling the chariot by abandoning your authority, I am also pulling the chariot by abandoning my authority. Vivekananda is not only my citizen. I was not pulling the chariot of a person, but I was pulling the chariot of a great sannyasi. Let me explain one thing to you. Power and wealth do not make one great. To be great, one has to sacrifice. Swami Vivekananda is an ascetic. Civilization will survive on this earth only as long as power and money pull the chariot of renunciation. We are worshippers of power and money, and Vivekananda is the idol of renunciation. If we do not pull his chariot, our culture will suffer. Renunciation is great. Power and money are nothing before it. Let's pull the chariot. Having said this, the Maharaja once again joined the crowd to pull Swamiji's chariot. Diwanji also ran behind. Moral renunciation did all the rest. 11. Dilruba. A great musician and a star of the music world, the classical musician Pandit Omkarnath Thakur once went to Haridwar. While he was passing through a road there, he saw a poor blind musician playing the Dilruba. He was trying to entertain people by playing the Dilruba, hoping to fill his stomach by collecting money. However, he did not know how to play the Dilruba properly. No one was attracted by his efforts. Since no one was standing there, there was no question of giving money. Panditji took pity on him. This was not just an insult to the poor man, but an insult to a musician. It was as if someone whispered in his ear, "Omkar, respecting music is not only your duty but also your karma." He immediately went to the poor musician and asked, "Brother, if you don't mind, let me help you a little in playing the Dilruba." As the man was blind, he could not recognize Panditji. He said, "The Dilruba is very difficult to play. Have you ever played the Dilruba? Can you play the Dilruba?" Anyone else hearing such a question might have shown arrogance or gotten angry. But Panditji said gently, "Yes, I can play a little Dilruba. I am still learning." Finally, the man handed him the Dilruba. Panditji took the Dilruba and, after paying obeisance to Ma Saraswati, sat down. In no time, wonderful tunes flowed from the Dilruba. As soon as Panditji touched the Dilruba, it seemed as though Saraswati herself had come and settled in it. People began to be drawn to the melodious tunes of music spreading everywhere. In no time, a crowd gathered. Many people in the crowd recognized this great musician. But Panditji signaled them not to say anything. People kept listening to the tune and money started pouring in. Panditji played the Dilruba there for more than an hour and collected a lot of money. Then he stood up, gave all the money to the poor blind musician, and took his leave. The musician said, "Brother, you seem like a great musician. Your tunes took me to a wonderful world." But Panditji did not introduce himself. He just put his hand on the musician's shoulder and started walking away. The crowd immediately started running behind him. Someone asked, "Panditji, being such a great musician, why did you sit on the footpath like this to play? Why didn't you give your introduction to that musician?" Panditji said, "Brother, music has the power to turn even the footpath into a throne. Secondly, I did not want to burden him with my gratitude by giving my identity." The crowd watched the noble deed of this great musician, and this great man got lost in the crowd of the world. Moral: secret help is the best help, like secret charity. 12. Medicine. Professor Tribhuvandas K. Gajjar, a renowned chemist of India, was working as a chemistry professor at a college in Mumbai. At that time, an epidemic of epilepsy spread throughout Mumbai. It was a contagious disease, and there was no cure. People were dying due to a lack of medicine and treatment. There was an uproar all around. Physicians, doctors and scientists were trying to prevent this disease in their own ways, but all efforts were failing. Epilepsy was no longer under control. Professor Gajjar was worried about the disease spreading in the city and the deaths of the people. He knew that chlorine and iodine drugs were used to eradicate this disease. Even though doctors were using them, they couldn't bring the disease under control. Professor Gajjar thought that if these two drugs were used in combination instead of separately, people could be freed from the disease. Living with the spirit of helping others in his heart, Professor Gazzer immediately dropped all his work and started researching a compound medicine. Very quickly, he discovered a compound that proved effective against the disease and named it iodine chloride. Doctors began taking trials of this combination medicine and results were seen immediately. People began to escape from the jaws of death. The disease started coming under control. Professor Gazzer now started producing the medicine day and night. Free medicine distribution centers were opened across the city. Not even a single rupee was charged for the medicine, whether from the rich or poor. All around, Professor Gazzer was cheered. 2 days later, some drug manufacturers came to Professor Gazzer and said to him, "Professor, have you gone mad or what? You have a diamond mine and you are giving it to others for free. Give us the patent for the medicine you have. We will give you lakhs of rupees. This is an opportunity to earn. People will pay any amount to live. We will sell the medicine at high prices." Professor Gazzer said, "Brother, I am a citizen of this country. It is my duty to help my fellow citizens in times of trouble. If my knowledge is not used to help this country, that knowledge is dust. I don't want to give you the patent. Please go away." The name of Professor Gazzer spread beyond the borders of the country too. Some foreign companies also offered him crores for the secret of this medicine, but Gazzer also told them, "I have found this medicine to help the people of my country. Nothing can be more valuable to me than my knowledge being useful to the people of my country. People getting cured from this disease is a big help and a big reward for me. I cannot give you the patent for this." When the people of the country came to know about this, his name and fame spread even more. Learning money is not everything in life. Taking undue advantage of someone in times of crisis is a crime. Sometimes, a person can help people even with their knowledge. Use knowledge as much as possible to help humanity and all. 13. Jane Addams. A poor family lived in the parishes of America, parents with their daughter. The daughter's name was Jane Addams. Poor means extremely poor. The daughter was young and in college, but the white color of help was painted in her mind. She was more interested in relieving people's pain rather than having fun, but she herself was poor and could not do anything. She was seeing the suffering of people every day and thinking that someone should help these people. One day, she was going to college in the morning. There was a bus facility, but she had no money. She had to walk many miles to college. While walking, she saw a boy crying on the road. She went to him and asked why he was crying. The boy said, "I am very hungry. There is nothing to eat in my house. What do I do?" Jane got up. She also did not have a single rupee. She turned away from shame. Turning her hand over his head, she said, "Dear, I will get you food tomorrow anyway." She walked further. A little girl was sitting at the gate of a school and crying. She asked her why she was crying. The girl said, "I could not pay the school fees, so I was expelled from school. I want to study, but we don't have money." What could Jane say? She didn't even have money. There was not enough to eat. She herself cried and walked forward. A scuffle was going on outside a building en route. A poor tenant was being kicked out by his landlord, and the tenant was pleading, "Landlord, I will pay your rent anyhow. Forgive me please. Where will I go after leaving this house? My mother and wife are both sick." The owner did not relent. His belongings started to be thrown out. Jane began to cry profusely. As she went further, she saw patients clamoring for treatment and orphaned children living on the footpaths. She had seen a lot in one day. Her heart wept from within and her eyes from outside. That day, she did not attend lectures in her college. She just sat outside and thought deeply. She started thinking about how many pains, how many sorrows, how many calamities there are in society. Someone should help all these destitute, needy people. But who will do this? Whom to find? While searching, her mental journey came to a standstill. And she thought, I myself will help these people. What if there is no money? I will earn money for them and serve such people. That day, after thinking for hours, when she got up, her clothes were the same, but her mind was colored with the desire to help. She left the worldly life at that very moment and decided to help people. From then on, she never looked back. Amidst many difficulties, the 16-year-old girl started swimming in the sea of help and reached her destination. She remained a lifelong virgin and helped people so much that her name became synonymous with help. Today, she is famous in America for her philanthropic spirit. This lifelong helping idol provides inspiration and passion to help. Learning, generally people only look forward to the rich for help, but truth is that a kind-hearted person finds a way to do so even in adverse circumstances. They do not look for excuses, but focus on their work. 14. Kanhoji anger. In the 18th century, a guard was appointed along the coast of Malabar. His name was Kanhoji Anger. He was greatly feared in that area. His task was to check all the passengers and guests coming by the sea to ensure that they did not introduce arms or any other harmful items into the country. The work was immense and loyalty was crucial. Once, a large Portuguese ship arrived on the southern coast with several weapons. The ship was brought ashore, and the Portuguese chief disembarked. Kanhoji was sitting there. The Portuguese chief came over and shook hands with him. Kanhoji welcomed him respectfully. After some formal talk, the Portuguese chief ordered the accompanying servants, "Hey, bring those two boxes and give them to Kanhoji Sahib." The servants immediately brought two boxes and placed them in front of Kanhoji. Kanhoji asked, "Chief, what is in this?" The chief smiled and said, "Sir, I have a small gift for you. Accept it and let us do our work. If you are happy, we are happy too." Kanhoji asked in surprise, "Your work? Which work?" The chief winked and said, "First, open these boxes. Then you will have nothing to ask." Kanhoji immediately opened the lids of both boxes. As soon as the lids were opened, his eyes were shocked. Both the boxes were filled with diamond jewelry and gold and silver ornaments, all worth crores of rupees. Before Kanhoji could say anything, the chief said, "Kanhoji, don't be shocked. All these jewels are yours. Even if you earn all your life, you will not get this much. It's your lucky day today. Take all these goods." Kanhoji understood that the chief was bribing him. He said firmly, "I don't want even a particle of these. Tell me, what do you want? We have brought some weapons on board. Let us unload them here, and all this booty is yours," the chief said, putting his hand on Kanhoji's shoulder. Kanhoji immediately removed his hand from his shoulder and said, "You have come to buy my loyalty? Get up, or you will be a headless corpse. I am loyal to my country, my land. I will not let others die for all this wealth." The chief got scared. Kanhoji kicked the diamond jewelry boxes in response. The chief was surprised to see his loyalty. He apologized to him and went back disappointed. Loyalty to one's country and land is a great religion. Let us all repay our debt to our country by showing loyalty to the land. Loyalty demands sacrifice. Loyalty does not come free, it comes at a high price. Loyalty keeps one busy but also content. Learning loyalty may hurt at first, but later it brings only happiness. 15. Tilekar. It was about the year 1772. Peshwa Narayan Rao's sun shone in Pune. It was the night of 30th August. Narayan Rao Peshwa was sleeping in his bedroom when suddenly 6 swordsmen rushed in with open swords and tried to attack Narayan Rao. He used his reflexes and immediately jumped out of the window. However, 3 open-ended sharpened swords pierced his chest and back. Narayan Rao was advancing, leaping over the palace gate, with 6 swordsmen chasing him. Narayan Rao thought while running, why was the hall, usually packed with 8 to 10 soldiers daily, empty today? How did these swordsmen enter the palace? Where have all the guards gone? While thinking, he rushed to his uncle Raghoba's room. Uncle! Uncle! Get up quickly! The enemy has attacked, and not a single soldier of ours is to be seen. Get up soon. Narayan Rao went straight to his uncle's bed. His uncle sat up. He immediately picked up his sword and turban lying by his side. Narayan Rao was lying on his lap. 6 swordsmen were standing in front of him with open swords, smiling heartily. Narayan Rao said in surprise, "Uncle, why don't you say anything? Why have these swordsmen become inert? I don't understand anything. My head is spinning." "Spinning will come now, son," Uncle Raghoba said with an enigmatic and terrible smile. "Today you are going to die. I can ascend the throne only if you are gone. These people have come at my behest. I have made friends with the British. Understood? That is why all the soldiers and bodyguards of this palace have been sent away today. Uncle, you have been unfaithful to me." "You?" Narayan Rao said in surprise. "No, son, this is not called infidelity. Disloyalty is when the uncle sits and the nephew rules the kingdom. I want authority. Uncle, you are getting the kingdom by selling Hindu rule. You did all this by selling our country, handing over the motherland to the British. Infidelity is this. Whatever it is. Your time has come." So speaking, Raghoba ordered the swordsmen to kill Narayan Rao. As the terrorists proceeded to attack Narayan Rao, a soldier named Tilekar barged in with an open sword. "Beware if anyone lays even a finger on our ruler. Even pieces of your body will not be found." Tilekar was a loyal soldier of Narayan Rao. He said to Narayan Rao, "Master, I got wind of your uncle's plot since morning. Everyone went away, but I didn't. They have paid hefty bribe, sir." "Well done, Tilekar, but my death is certain." "You go away," said to Narayan Rao. "Master, I will not let anyone harm you as long as I breathe." So speaking, Tilekar attacked the enemies. Raghoba lured him with land and property, but he did not stop. A terrible fight ensued. Finally, the faithful Tilekar was martyred. Narayan Rao was also killed. Martyrdom had the color of loyalty. Learning, one should not hesitate to sacrifice one's life to maintain loyalty. 16. Religion. During British rule, there was a judge of Mehsana district in the state of Vadodara. His name was A.R. Shinde. He was considered one of Maharaja Sayajirao Gaikwad's staunch companions. The Maharaja trusted him more than anyone else. Shinde was always with the Maharaja whenever he travelled abroad. He participated in important decisions as well. Once, he went on a tour with the Maharaja. Even after settling his administrative work, there was still a lot of time left. The Maharaja told Shinde, "Brother, if we sit like this, we will get bored. Let's go somewhere." Shinde was waiting for the Maharaja to ask. He immediately said, "Maharaja, that is what I was going to tell you. There is a big jewelry shop nearby. It has the best gems from around the world. If you say, let's go there. If you like them, you can buy some, otherwise, we can just have a look and return." The Maharaja agreed, "Hey, wow. Let's go and check out their gems." Both the Maharaja and Shinde went to that jewelry market in Paris. They went to the designated shop there. The shopkeeper was astonished to learn that the Maharaja of a major Indian state had himself come to his shop. He welcomed the Maharaja and Shinde. There were gems that dazzled the Maharaja. The Maharaja bought a lot from there and came back. That same evening, a representative of the jeweler came to meet Shinde. He placed some money in front of him and said, "Shinde sir, take this, your commission." "Commission for what?" Shinde asked in surprise. "Commission for bringing a big customer like the Maharaja to our shop." "Hey, are you crazy or what? If I take a commission, it will be disloyalty to the Maharaja. I am very loyal to him. He trusts me a lot. I can't break that trust." "Sir, it's not like that. We give every secretary and representative money for bringing customers. Brother, that is your money, and mine is loyalty. I want to work according to my loyalty. Take this money and give the Maharaja a bill after deducting this commission. If I take this money, there will be so much burden on the state. I will be considered unfaithful, understood?" Shinde shouted at him. The representative was surprisedly delighted and said, "Sir, salute to your faithfulness. I will definitely take this point to His Majesty Maharaja Sahib." Shinde explained to him again, "Brother, there is nothing to say to the Maharaja Sahib. Loyalty is my religion. It is the religion of every Indian, not just mine. It is not surprising, understood?" The representative saluted and departed with a smile. The bottom line is that loyalty is not a favor, it is our religion. We must perform it. It takes a strong mind and strong willpower to maintain loyalty. Loyalty has nothing to do with money, it has to do with the mind. Learning faithfulness is not an obligation, it's our religion which everyone must follow. 17. Volunteer. The year was 1922. A big Khadi exhibition was organized by the Congress in Kakinada. The eminent leaders of the country, saints and mahants and many industrialists and citizens were to come to watch the exhibition. A meeting of the managers and volunteers was arranged the day before the demonstration was to begin. The organizers gave clear instructions that no one should be allowed inside without pass or the ticket, be it any person. A volunteer was standing at the main gate. She was doing her work honestly. She used to grant entry by looking at the tickets of the ticket holders and checking the passes of the pass holders. At that time, a big leader along with his 3 friends hurriedly followed and started entering the gate without showing ticket or pass. The volunteer immediately stopped him. "Sir, stop. Show your ticket or pass. Your name is Jawaharlal Nehru. I have a lot of respect and esteem for you. You are one of my favorite leaders. I am not stopping you. I am just doing my duty. I have instructions from the organizers not to let anyone in without a ticket or pass. Nehru and his friends took the tickets and got inside applauding the volunteer. That volunteer's name was Durgabai Deshmukh. She later on went on to become a member of parliament and the planning commission. Her devotion to duty got her a lot of progress. But in that progress, she did not anytime compromise with her duties. Learning duty comes on top. It is above everything. 18. Vishveshwaraya. Father of Indian engineering Dr. Vishveshwaraya had very simple personality. Although he was a very famous person, he was never proud of it. He behaved just like a common man living in society and performing his duties. Vishveshwaraya was the Diwan of the princely state of Mysore. At that time he went to a village for service work. He was doing all his work himself as a common man. He suddenly injured his hand while working. His finger bled profusely. The wound was very deep and bleeding did not stop. The villagers and the organizers got worried. It is not right that such a big person should be injured in this way. Immediately the best doctor of the village was called. The doctor treated him. The finger was stitched and bandaged. When the doctor got up to leave, Vishveshwaraya handed over 25 rupees to him as his fee. The doctor said, "Sir, why are you putting me to shame? I am very lucky to serve a great person like you. You serve the country, it is my duty to serve you." Vishveshwaraya said, "Your duty is to give medical treatment and my duty is to pay the fee. You've done your duty, now let me do mine. There is nothing ordinary and nothing special about anyone. You would have taken money from a normal patient, so I am the same. Such discrimination should not be carried out in duty." Saying so, he fulfilled his duty by paying the fee to the doctor. Learning, there is nothing special or general about anybody while performing one's duty. Treat everyone on equal footing. 19. Eligibility. Nobel laureate great scientist C.V. Raman founded a research institute. He had to recruit a scientific assistant for this new organization. Interview ended. Raman went out after finishing his work. There was a candidate sitting outside. Raman came to him and said, "Brother, I told you in the interview that you do not have adequate knowledge of physics, so I can't take you in my institute. Why are you still sitting here?" No, sir. I am not sitting for the job. But the thing is that the traveling allowance given to me by your organization is much more than my expense. So, I am sitting here to return that extra amount. Sir, you were busy. I was waiting for you so that I can return the excess money to you once you get free, and then leave. Standing for a while, Raman thought of something and then took the young man inside. Handing the job appointment letter in his hand, Raman said, "Brother, let me select you for the post of scientific assistant in my institute." "Sir, you were saying that I do not have adequate knowledge of physics, then why are you selecting me?" Raman smiled and said, "Brother, I can teach you that. This excellent character of yours is your greatest merit. No one can teach that, so I am selecting you." Learning, a man is recognized by his character. 20. Poor Prime Minister. As soon as the dignitary entered the sari shop, everyone was surprised. The shopkeeper was so stunned that did not understand how to welcome him. He accorded a warm welcome to the dignitary. Then he asked the displayed saris to the gentleman. First, The shopkeeper showed his most expensive sari costing 800 rupees. The gentleman asked the price. Brother, what is the price of this? Sir, leave the price, you take it, it's yours. No, but tell me what is the price. Sir, 800 rupees. It is very costly. Show me a cheaper sari. The shopkeeper then showed a sari worth 400 rupees. The gentleman said, Hey, brother. I am a poor and common man. Show me a very cheap sari in the range of 50 rupees to 100 rupees. The shopkeeper laughed. Sir, you are kidding us. You are the Prime Minister of this country. How can you be poor? And another thing, you don't need to buy this, sir. This sari is our gift to you. The Prime Minister said, No, brother. I can't take this sari as a gift from you. The shopkeeper humbly said, Sir, you do so much for our country. Don't we have right to gift our Prime Minister? The Prime Minister said, You are right. I have the right not to take as much as you have the right to give. I understand that everything has reached me because it is your love for me. As Prime Minister, I cannot accept any such gift. My character prevents me from doing so. Once I take a gift like this, I will get habituated. My character will get tarnished. Nothing is more important to me than my character. The shopkeeper requested and persuaded many times, but the Prime Minister was unmoved. He did not accept the gift. Lal Bahadur Shastri was the name of that great Prime Minister who was constantly alert and striving to keep his character intact. Learning, as man's position grows in society, so does his responsibility towards his character. 21. Hanumanji's renunciation. It was evening, nature was beautiful. The sky was decorated with different colors. It was filled with different colors as if it was colored with colors of nature. The atmosphere was mesmerizing with the latest colorful rangoli. Not only this, the atmosphere was also changing every moment. New rangoli for every moment. No matter how great an artist a man is, but he dwarfs in front of nature. He spends so many hours to draw a picture on canvas, and then days and months are spent adding colors to it. Sometimes it takes a lifetime in giving best art to the world. And here nature brings a new art to the canvas of the sky every moment. The work of painting and coloring is not done separately, rather it is done simultaneously. Shri Hanumanji was sitting at the edge of his place and was watching Rangoli is captivating, changing every moment. Pavanaputra Hanuman, Hanuman the son of wind god Pavan, Anjana Sut Hanuman, son of Anjana, Ram Bhakt Hanuman, devotee of Ram, has now become Prakriti Mast Hanuman, nature lover. As nature's art moves, Hanuman's eyes also move. As nature shines, Hanuman's face also shines. As nature's art blossoms, Hanuman's facial colors also bloom. When dusk, evening sky, blossoms with beauty, Hanuman's mouth opens in appreciation to say wow. Dusk and Hanuman are engrossed in fun. Hanuman, whom the world calls a bachelor, has become crazy about this dusk. He is looking at blossoming beauty of dusk without blinking his eyes. Hanuman stretched out his hand toward the sky and his beloved Manuni for holding the loose end of her sari, pallu. His beloved's beauty is adorned by different colors in the sky. Dusk is also taking new forms every moment. The vigor of dusk which existed a moment earlier was gone the very next moment. Seeing this, Hanuman went into deep thought. He started shining in the sky of thought. A beautiful moment had arrived, but that to just a dusky sky. It was a beautiful moment, but that to a celestial evening. What is there to get tempted in the beauty of the evening? Today the look has bloomed, the luck is by your side. And tomorrow it is gone. May your beautiful body beauty shine and look like Sanat Kumar Chakraborty in a moment. The color of dusk covered by the color of night brings a feeling of renunciation. Rising beauty one day becomes distasteful. The color of renunciation emerged in the sky of this thought. Hanumanji now got colored in the color of dispassion. The color of dusk faded and the color of renunciation of Hanumanji emerged. Under the rule of the 20th Tirthankar, Shri Munisuvrat Swami, Shri Hanumanji took Pach Mahavrat Dhari Diksha, renunciation with 5 vows of Jainism, and attained salvation by following the pure conduct and defeating the karmas. Anjana Sati, who was fighting with her past deeds in the forest, gave birth to Hanumanji. That day is Chaitra Sud Purnima. The king of Hanupur Nagar, Raja Pratisurya, was Anjana's maternal. He was passing from there by sitting in his aircraft. Seeing them, he took Anjana and Hanuman with him. Suddenly Hanuman fell from the aircraft flying in the sky. The rock on which he fell was rock shattered to pieces. Nothing happened to Hanuman. For this reason, Hanuman was called Vajrang, from which the name became Bajrang. Bajra is equal to Vajraang, Bajrangabli. Learning renunciation just needs a moment to trigger in your mind. 22. In the freedom movement. Father, if you apologize, consider me as a dog's puppy. If you don't apologize, I will think of myself as a lion's cub. 12-year-old Bal Singh, who was tied to the mouth of a cannon, himself roared like a cannon. Before the English could unleash their cannons in the ground of Gwalior, the words of this child were unleashed from his mouth. The day was 22nd June 1858 when Bal Singh roared. That child was from the Bantia family. This incident took place as a part of the struggle to free India from British slavery. The cyclone of these words was from the son of Jain libertarian named Amarchand Bantia. Bal Singh said these words to his father. The freedom struggle had started in 1857. This struggle started to oust the British who were ruling India. At that time Rani Lakshmibai, Peshwa Tatya Tope, Bahadur Shah Zafar etc. started a collective struggle to free India from the clutches of the British. At that time, everyone used whatever they had for this purpose. Those who had money gave money. Healthy people fought with the bodily strength. Intellectuals used their brain for the nation. All had the same mission, to be a full collaborator in liberating India from British slavery. At that time, Amarchand Bantia, a Jain freedom fighter originally from Bikaner who had settled in Gwalior for business, also joined this struggle, dedicating his body, mind and money. Shrestivarya Shri Amarchand Bantia dedicated his wealth to Rani Lakshmibai to cover 12 years' salary of her army and all expenses of her forces. The British came to know that Amarchand Bantia has distributed the ocean of wealth to these heroes who fought against the British. They immediately arrested Amarchand, and he was declared a criminal on the plains of Gwalior. The British officials explained to Amarchand that he can get out of this. Tell the court that you made a mistake and apologize. Then you will not be sentenced to death, otherwise you will be publicly hanged. Amarchand did not believe that he was created to be immortal. When he refused to budge after much persuasion, the British brought Amarchand's little son into the field and said, "Apologize, Amarchand, otherwise you will be hanged. But first, we will tie your 12-year-old son upside down to the barrel of a cannon before your eyes and blow him up." The son was tied into the barrel of the cannon upside down. Seeing this shook the father's heart. His eyes cried. Bal Singh roared, "Father, give me the right to be known not as a dog's puppy, but as a lion's cub." Amarchand's resolve became firm like that of a true freedom fighter. The barbaric British blew up his child with the cannon and then hanged Amarchand to death in the middle of the market square of Gwalior. This was the second execution of a Jain devotee in the freedom struggle. Who was the first Jain devotee to be hanged in the freedom struggle? He was Lala Hukumchand Jain from Hansi in Hisar district of Haryana state. This Jain freedom fighter was the first to climb the gallows in the freedom struggle on the 19th of January, 1858. And 5 months later another Jain devotee was hanged to death, freedom fighter Amarchand Bantia on 22nd June 1858. We bow down to these freedom fighters. Learning, one must be loyal to his country even at the cost of sacrificing his life. Motisha 25. Pride versus Arrogance. America's President Abraham Lincoln was giving a speech at a meeting one day. People were mesmerized by his words. One of his opponents, who was present at the meeting and was very jealous of Lincoln's success, stood up and interrupted Lincoln's speech. He said, "Brother, stop this grandiose speech. I know what kind of clan you come from." Lincoln said nothing and continued his speech. The opponent grew angrier and said, "Lincoln, you talk of great things and civilization today, but your father used to sew slippers in my father's company. Look where I am and where you are. Good luck to you today. You have power now, so you talk so grandly." The opponent proudly looked around, and there was an uproar in the meeting. People started whispering, "Did Lincoln's father really sew slippers?" Seeing the commotion, Lincoln immediately addressed the opponent, "You are right. My father did sew slippers in your father's generation. But answer me one thing, did my father do anything wrong while he worked there?" The opponent had to answer, "No, never." Lincoln continued, "And did he sew those slippers well?" The opponent cleared his throat and was about to respond when an elderly man stood up from the meeting and said, "Lincoln, sir, I worked in that firm at that time. Your father worked very honestly. He was an expert in his craft. Once someone wore the slippers made by him, they could not wear any other slippers." Lincoln then asked the opponent, "So, was my father truly doing a good job or not?" The opponent could not avoid answering. He had to say, "Yes, he did a very good job. Excellent slipper making." Lincoln replied, "I am proud of my father's craftsmanship. I do not look down upon it. My father sewed slippers to make others feel whatever they wanted to feel. But I believe he did his work with pride." Lincoln then looked at his opponent and said, "Brother, you act according to your opinion, and I act according to mine. You tried to shame me that my father worked as a shoemaker, but I am proud of him." He too was proud of his work. With that, Lincoln sat down. The crowd erupted in applause and cheers for Lincoln. Learning, be proud of whatever work you do with dignity. 26. Maturity. The great scholar Sir William Jones was appointed as a judge of the Calcutta Supreme Court in 1783 AD. He held his mother in the highest regard throughout his life and attributed his family's success to her. One day, one of his friends asked, "Friend, you often credit the success of your life and the happiness of the world to your mother. Did your father contribute to your success in life?" "As far as I know, your father was also involved in a very big business. All of you are successful due to his hard work. Your mother was just an ordinary housewife. So why do you give all the credit for your success to your mother instead of to your father?" Sir William appreciated the question. He responded, "You are right, brother. it is true that my father achieved a lot of success and worked hard. But much of this was due to my mother's success. Let me tell you a story. One day, my father fell seriously ill. His business suffered greatly, and we were left with a lot of debt. When it was known that my father was ill, all the creditors began to line up at our house, fearing they would not get their money. My father was very distressed. He was deeply shocked. There was only one person who did not show up, a special friend of my father who lived outside. My father was very proud of this friend. He repeatedly said, "See, only true friends are helpful." All the creditors demanded their money, but he did not. I survived because of him. I would have died of shock if he had also come. My father truly valued that friend and had great faith in him. However, one day, his faith was proven wrong. A letter arrived from that friend asking for high money. My mother read first. She kept her feelings hidden and did not show any emotion on her face. My father knew that a letter from his friend had arrived. He was bedridden and unable to read it himself, so he asked my mother to read it out to him. Mother read the letter but changed the contents. She said, "The letter says, 'Dear friend, I learned about your illness and regret that I cannot come to visit. I know you would have incurred huge expenses due to your illness. I request that if you need money, please do let me know without hesitation. I am not very rich, but will certainly help you in your time of need. Your friend." My father was deeply moved after hearing this. He was spared from dying of shock thanks to my mother's cleverness. There are many such instances where my father's vigor and success were due to my mother's ingenuity. He achieved success in business largely because of her cleverness. Not only that, but I have also been able to come so far today because of my mother's ingenuity. Therefore, I attribute all the credit to my mother. William finished speaking. His friend realized that the real driver of success is the person who works smartly and achieves results in life. Learning, the bottom line is, if you want to advance in life, do so with maturity. 27. Resolution. It is well known that Irving, the famous scholar, could accomplish anything he set his mind to. But very few know how he gained the power to achieve whatever he imagined. Behind his great achievements was an immense amount of determination. There are many examples of this, and let's look at one of them. It is worth mentioning that at one time, Irving did not know the Greek language. Once, a Greek dictionary was found in his house. On the first page, in his own handwriting, there was a note, "It is now 8 o'clock in the evening. At the moment, I do not know Greek at all. But now, I, Irving, resolve that by 8 o'clock in the morning, I shall learn to read and write the Greek alphabet and letters." He flipped through the dictionary. On the last page, there was another note written in his signature, "It is 8 o'clock in the morning. I, Irving, declare that I have learned the Greek language well and thoroughly. I am fulfilling the resolution I made last night." Is this an imaginary event? It seems unbelievable, but it is a true story. There are many such events in Irving's life. His life is filled with numerous instances of determination. When someone undertakes such continuous austerities, like an unbroken vow, nothing remains unattainable. The essence of this is that there is immense strength in a person's will. Often, people are unaware of this strength, and if they are unaware, they never realize it. Even if someone tries to inform them, they may ignore it. People often undermine their own resolutions and burn their willpower. But once a person recognizes the potential within their own imagination, life becomes enriched. The stronger the resolution, the quicker its fulfillment. If you, with every drop of blood and determination, make a resolution and commit to its achievement, tasks that would normally take years can be completed in days. Learning, great people make resolutions, while ordinary people merely make wishes. 28 Resolution 2. Once a doctor said to an ailing patient, "Brother, there is nothing left in your body. You cannot live more than a month." The patient replied, "Sir, I want to live. I don't want to die. I still have a lot of work to do in this world." The doctor reassured him, "Brother, your passion is admirable, but as per medical science, you cannot live." The patient left silently. 25 years later, the patient met the doctor again. The doctor was astonished to see him and could not say anything. He was shocked. Finally, the patient spoke, "Sir, don't be surprised. You weren't wrong at all. My body was exhausted, but it was the determination to live that kept me going. It was my determination that sustained my body." Determination is also a life giver. Breathing does not stop if there is determination. Determination can be a man's heartbeat as well as his breath. So, keep your resolution close to your heart always. Those who understand that strong will is true intelligence know that concepts like to be or not to be are divided into possible and impossible. But both possibility and impossibility depend on the strength of the will. Nothing is impossible for those who have strong willpower. Nothing in the world is impossible for those who keep the impossible under their feet. Their willpower brings the whole world to their feet. Many great individuals, such as Maharana Pratap, Napoleon, Siddharaj Jai Singh, Veer Savarkar, Mahatma Gandhi, Shivaji and many more have achieved victory through the power of determination. At one time, not only the whole country, but the entire world considered certain things impossible. However, they conquered these challenges through their unwavering determination. Human creation is not possible without determination. A person first makes a resolution, then strives to fulfill it, and only through the achievement of this resolve is he truly formed. Learning, human development is impossible without the power of resolution. Man first takes a resolution, then he puts in efforts to achieve it. Development takes place when resolution is accomplished. 29 A lifelong teacher. Someone asked Dr. Abdul Kalam how he would like to be recognized after death. As a former President of India, as a Bharat Ratna, as a great scientist, as a visionary of 2020, or as an author of a best-selling book? He replied, as a teacher. He remained a teacher throughout his life. His personality was like a combination of all three vibhutis, glorious forms, like Mahatma Gandhi in directness, like Swami Vivekananda in thought, and like Albert Einstein in curiosity. He said, whenever we teach something, we in fact learn something new. While lecturing in an educational institution like a school, college, etc., he forgets the place and time. The students of the institution where he was giving the lecture felt that Kalam Sahib was just like us. In a school in UP, after giving a lecture to the 5th-6th standard students, as children asked more questions, the conversation lasted for 3 hours. Someone reminded him that he had to reach another institution in the evening. Be it the airport, the beach or a religious institution, whatever the group wanted to learn, he would happily explain and teach them. When he was the head of the Space Research Center in Thumba, One of his team's scientists asked for permission to leave office early to take his children to an exhibition in the evening. Kalam Sahib gave permission to leave early. Then he saw that the scientist was so engrossed in his work that he forgot to leave early in the evening. Unknown to him, Kalam Sahib himself reached that scientist's house and took his children to the exhibition. He listened with interest even if someone gave new information. Only Kalam Sahib could show the humility to sit in front of the Brahman Pramukhaswami when he was the president himself. Once during the lecture in some institution, the light went out, but he completed his lecture with a loud voice in the middle of everyone without mic. He never expected anything in return if he received an invitation to lecture in any institution. Are the trains going to that place? What facilities will be available? Never inquire about it. On reaching an institute in Tamil Nadu, the car broke down on the way, and even though it was 12 o'clock in the night, he did not disappoint the students who had been waiting for hours. As a teacher, Dr. Abdul Kalam's humility, openness and non-pretentiousness were admirable.